Week 1 of Truck Camper Experience. We are going to share the 5 things we like
and dislike about the camper.
And for our enjoyment factor, our likes, we have number 1.
The shower. It's amazing. We love mountain biking, and it is so amazing to be able to come back and wash out after we're done. We do have an exterior and an interior shower, but we didn't use the exterior shower because we were in dustier areas, which is why we were so covered in dust and wanted to wash off. So the interior shower was amazing.
Inside shower rocks.
Yeah.
The next thing we really love is these windows. So these windows are awning style windows, as you can see here. And the amazing thing with them is that they open all the way. So most slider windows, however big it is, they only open halfway. So you only get half of the window to vent. And when it's hot out, like it is here, you really want that cross breeze through. These windows are huge, which is awesome. And because they're awning style, they flip up, you get the whole opening to get airflow through. The other thing that's nice with them is that they're huge. So inside there's tons of light. And when you're sitting at a dinette, you get a beautiful view out depending on where you park. And it's just fantastic. These windows are great. They're quiet. Absolutely love them. So I would buy the camper just to get these windows.
Yes.
I like them that much.
So the other thing that I really like about this one, which is different than the 2013, is the new Dometic stove. It's actually wider. So the original Dometic 2-burner stove is only wide enough to fit about 1.5 pans. So the problem with that is if you're trying to cook anything such as spaghetti or something with rice, you can't do both at the same time. Your pans just won't fit. This new larger Dometic fits 2 full pans on the stove, makes it really nice. It also has the electric striker, which the old Dometic didn't have. So it's super nice, and it has a great big window behind it, so it kind of helps vent some of that air out while you're cooking. So if it's hot like it is here, it helps us keep some of that hot air out of the camper. So that's really nice.
And the next thing I absolutely like is the batteries. So these are not standard batteries that come with it. They are the Battle-Born lithium batteries, and they freaking rock. They're really awesome. They not only hold charge really well, but they recharge extremely quick. Yes. So it's really great. We haven't discharged them, I don't think, more than about 20%. And it's pretty incredible to have lots of power and not have to worry about it. So definitely like that a lot. And what's our last thing that we like about the camper?
The last thing that we like about the camper is the insulation.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
So it's so quiet.
It is. It was super windy several days that we were up here, which was phenomenal because it helped us cool the camper down. But it also made it so quiet that we could sleep right through it. Yeah,
so sometimes like when you park on a peak or something, you have 20-30 mile an hour winds. I mean, in a pop-up style tent or camper, roof tenty, those types of things, man, you're not gonna be sleeping. It is just noisy, obnoxious. The whole thing feels like it's gonna fall down on you. On this thing, you don't even notice it. It's so crazy. It's amazing. I mean, between the windows being really well insulated and then just the overall structure being really well insulated, it's fantastic for bad weather. So 5 things we do not like about the camper so far. What do we have first?
So what I miss the most is probably the pass-through. So we had a pass-through in the Winnebago. It was phenomenal. One of my favorite things is if I forgot to lock something down, I could see it and we could pull over and close it. In this thing, we've had a couple of unusual things happen. We didn't forget. We tried a new egg container that had a little sealed lid on it. It was supposed to be for the smaller fridge. Unfortunately, we were on an off-road, tipped over, lid fell off. We had a dozen eggs break in the fridge. The problem was we went mountain biking without checking the back. And so we came back 2 hours later
mess. Yay.
to 12 eggs pouring out of the fridge all over the floor.
So good times.
That was disgusting.
Lack of a pass-through is a bummer. So the next thing we dislike, or I dislike especially, is the height of it. So because it is a hard-sided camper, we're over 10 feet tall, which
very tall.
Is pretty tall. I mean, the center of gravity is pretty good, so even off-road, it doesn't seem to be too bad. But man, it's still a tall thing. I mean, if it was 8 foot tall, like our pop-up camper in the Tundra was, I mean, that's a lot less to think about. But, you know, you do have to pay attention to branches and all that sort of thing and where you're going. so far hasn't been too big a problem, and we do have a possible solution for that, which we will share. But for now, definitely getting used to the tall height, which I guess we had it with the Winnebago. It's just that this one being more off-road focused, we have to pay more attention to that, especially when we venture off the road in rougher spots.
Yes.
What's the next thing we dislike?
So we love the windows, but one of the concerns or issues that we found with the windows is that the screens sit on the inside of the window. So you actually have to open the window and then pull up the screen.
Yeah.
The problem is you also have to close the window or pull the screen down to close the window. And we've been in some areas with bees and flies and stuff. Not really mosquitoes, but the problem is we have to turn off all the lights and drop the screen so that we can pull the windows back in to keep bugs out of the camper. So it's phenomenal, the type of screen, because the screen pulls up, and then if you pull down, or I'm sorry, that's the opposite. So if you pull down, you get your screen. If you pull up, you have your reflective, which the reflective is awesome. It works really well to
it's
get
a blackout
the heat out.
shade.
It's
so
really, really nice. And I do
the
really
light.
like the fact that the screen is over the whole window. I just wish we didn't have to drop the screen in order to pull the window back in.
Yeah, so opening and closing the window means that you have to open the shade or the screen in order to do that. So it's definitely a little bit less good on that part of it.
Yeah.
So the next thing we dislike with the camper is the what is it?
So the other thing that kind of, I guess it's good and bad. So the bed height is higher than the rest of the truck, which I kind of like the height because you get a nice view, you're above the cab, you feel a little bit more secure. There's two things about it. So the height of it when you're out in the heat means all the heat rises. So when I'm cooking, all of that hot goes up into our bed area. So if it's dinner time and I'm cooking, bedtime means that the bed is about 10 degrees hotter. In the winter, I can see that being a huge advantage. So it's kind of a love-hate type thing. If you're in the hot, it does make it hotter. If you're in the cold, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, so our Winnebago, the bed was at the back of the RV, and it was basically typical bed height. I mean, we raised it a bit, so it was a little bit higher than typical bed height, but it was not that high. This is basically ceiling height, I mean, or close to it.
Yeah.
So your all the heat kind of goes up there, so it's definitely something to consider in the heat. However, it is a trade-off because in the cold, it's probably gonna be really nice.
Right. So it's hard to say that it's a complete dislike because I know we have some snow trips scheduled for this winter, and I think it's going to be a really nice factor. So I guess it's kind of a love-hate thing.
So the last thing that we dislike, is this the last thing?
No, the small water tank.
Small water tank. So here's the thing, like everybody, most campers, especially truck campers, they seem to short you on water tank size. And North Star is amazing with, especially the Laredo SC. They give you a 40-gallon fresh water tank, which is fantastic. That's really the size that you want for just being able to be off grid and not have to worry too much about water. This one only has a 20-gallon water tank, which really, you know, yeah, you can make it work. I mean, we basically have been out for a week and we have a 17-gallon tank that's in the truck for drinking water, and then the 20-gallon tank in the truck camper. And, you know, we've been taking showers basically every day, and we're about 10 gallons down on the truck camper tank, and we used up all of our drinking water tanks. So we've used about 25 gallons in a week.
We're probably a little less than half a tank now. But.
So basically the deal is, you know, we'll probably be upgrading the tank to a larger tank.
Yeah.
Probably put a 30-gallon tank into it. I think that's the largest we can fit without going too crazy with modifications on it, but it should be able to fit in that space there. So water tank size is a huge factor. You know, definitely if you're going to be off-grid and you don't want to be constantly dealing with searching for water and having that be a thought process with your enjoyment of being outside, then you definitely want to consider how large your water tank is and how much you can carry.
Yeah.
So, and is that it? Is that all 5?
Yeah, I think that's all 5 of our things.
So that's 5 things we dislike and 5 things we like about the truck camper after 1 week of traveling. Completely off grid with it, and we've been exploring all over the place. I guess I would add one other thing that we're gonna have to work on, and that is dust. So driving on a lot of these dirt, gravel roads and whatnot, we're getting a lot of dust, which was a problem with our 4-wheel camper as well, but we're getting dust inside. So we're gonna have to kind of figure out, where it's coming in. I think it might be coming in the roof vent some, maybe through the door, but anyways, we're gonna have to investigate that a little bit more. And when we find a good solution for it, we'll share that with you. So thanks so much for watching. And be sure to comment if you have anything that you're wondering about or have any questions on. And otherwise, hit the like button and subscribe. Give us some encouragement, and keep posted here. We'll be sharing some upcoming videos and trips we're going to be taking this thing out on very shortly. Thanks so much.
Thank you.